Hey everyone, welcome back to more Star Dynasties. I'm DisturbingPuppet. We're continuing here with the Scrooge Sovereignty. So I did see this notice pop up. My niece, who we married off to the farmers, who had a child with the head of the farmers, is now very ill, which I find very odd. Yeah, definitely an interesting situation. So something else I thought that I could do, potentially. The current heir to the farmers is the Duke down here in Pollux. Now, Barry over here, the head of the farmer territories, married my niece, had another child. I think he only has the two, which means we could maybe try to kill the heir to get one of my relatives on the throne. Potentially, but they're already part of the league, so I don't really feel like I need to do anything that crazy. But it is a thought, and it has occurred to me, and I'm thinking about whether I want to do anything about that or not. Let me check and see, just out of curiosity, if he does only have the two children. He has been married twice, so let's see if we can find... Yeah, so he just has the two. Wilbur is unmarried, it looks like. And there is our great niece. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of tempting to bump off Wilbur, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. What is that? Trying for a child with an unknown person, but he isn't married. Interesting. No, he is married, just not showing. I guess because we don't know, so we're not actually getting the information. Strange. Yeah, so if he has a child, then it would go to that child instead of my descendants. Yeah, I don't know if it's that big a deal, because he is already in the league. If it was somebody outside of the league we wanted to absorb, then it would be more of an issue. Yeah, we'll let that go. I'm not going to murder Barry's son for no reason, basically. Yeah, I keep calling him Barry because like he took over well after we'd started the game, so I've kind of seen him from the time he was a young man. Yeah, nothing I can really do. We've kind of done what we can. I am trying something out, and then I'm helping collect taxes down here in the Galloway. And I don't know if this is actually going to do much, but I'm kind of curious to see how much additional cash this brings in. It's probably only going to be like 1 credit, would be my guess, at best. In which case, we'll just switch off from doing that. I just kind of want to test and see, because we do have a bloodline point into increasing the effectiveness of this action. So it is an extra 45% bonus to tax collection, and that's across the entire Galloway Alliance, which includes these guys now. So might be helpful. I'm not really sure. We are helping rebuild the fleet down here. I could help rebuild the fleet up in my home system, which is kind of what I should do instead of helping them collect taxes, but we'll see how it goes. They are kind of weak over here, but I don't think... Yeah, the Galloways aren't at war with anybody, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. Hopefully, Saddle Melek here can thrive and build up a little bit. Speaking of which, yeah, you don't have a great view of me, but your direct vassal is the Galloways, so not a huge problem. Anything else we want to look at? I guess I can see how big your fleet is. You've got a few things, not much. You literally have no fleet. Okay, sure, fine, be that way. All right, yeah, I think we just kind of run it and see what happens. Oh, he's in love with his wife, who's ill, and my niece. Flare-up of descent on 94. That's the capital, I think, of the Jordan colonies, yeah. Parts factory repaired in Nair Al Saif. Excellent. Daughter came back home. She was the one running those repairs. Roxanne Scrooge celebrated her coming of age. So Roxanne, my great niece. Yeah, I mean, pretty mediocre across the board. Decent administrator, that's about it. So these newer people we might want to keep around because once the older generations die off, we will need people in the family. We are under family maximum 8 under. We can also use them to marry useful people into the family from over, like outside the faction too. Guardianship has ended. Lady Oz Vanilla leading an uprising. Well, that was quick. It's not going to work. Failed horribly. Duchess Arlana wants support in the combat at Marfik. I mean, I can't even send ships to you, so that's a whole odd thing. She's defending against... It must be a rebellion. Yeah, inside the same faction. I mean, I'm happy to agree, because even if I can send ships, like if she allows me to assist and get transportation, it's only a couple ships, and it would make her like us a lot more. She probably already likes me quite a bit, fairly. We're generally a likable person at this point in time. I'll accept, because it is putting down a rebellion. Even though it's far away, we're probably not literally able to help. So also someone inside the Lindsay Quadrant is helping as well. Yeah, House Savage, very cool. But yeah, they put down the rebellion without too much trouble at all. They only had about, 26 ships? Yep, we just kind of ignored that. That's fine. Son-in-law is asking for permission to try for another child with a daughter. I think they have two, in which case I'm kind of fine with that. So this is my heir's husband is coming to ask me specifically. No, they've got three. They've got Frederick, Charles, and Bella. I am kind of okay with that because we are under our family size quite a bit. So, yeah, sure, give it a shot if you want to. The bigger the royal family is, the better. So Duke Pineda gave allegiance to the Fields in exchange for 360 bucks. So that's the Jordan colonies just went over to the Fields Union in exchange for a ton of cash. That is not good. So actually, these guys looking... Well, okay, they look strong and weak at the same time because they're all these different little separate factions that are all quite small individually. Actually, the Jordans are probably the strongest. The Villas are decently strong too. But I feel like this is doomed to completely fall apart, or the Jordans will try to take it over, or something weird's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to last. It does put these guys in a bad situation, but I can't really take advantage because we don't share a star border, although possibly this could be counted. I'll have to take a look and see. Baron Jarvis was caught attempting to murder somebody. I mean, that's definitely not good. Someone just on the local... My wife's sister-in-law. I mean, that's iffy on your part there, buddy. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got. Word of succession has been changed. Fola Jarvis. Okay, is now the heir. Why are you listed here? To kind of watch some of these inheritance issues because you could have like a separate faction in your league leave suddenly depending on inheritance laws and stuff. Blackwell's fine, lowered taxes, changing council positions around, not a big deal. What's going on out here? Some fines, sure. Take a look at this here in a minute. I do have some spies operating inside the Jordans. I was kind of hoping we could get some kind of advantage and maybe try to get them over to our side. It still could happen eventually. We'll have to see what happens. Linz, now that you are much weaker, do you want to join us potentially? I don't know if we can even ask, honestly, because I don't think we share a border. Yeah, so it doesn't count this as actually being a border, even though there are connections. It does border the farmers, but not us, so we can't do anything about that. Similarly here, then, I would assume. We can actually request you. That's interesting. I guess because you have a vassal in the way, we can't. She wouldn't join. It would require her leaving the union she's currently in. Most people are pretty reluctant to do that kind of stuff. Right, we do want to check our money situation. Let's get our money report up. So, improving tax efficiency. So the base, so we got an extra 1.6 because we were helping collect taxes inside the Galway Alliance. That's pretty pathetic, honestly. Yeah, so we're going to stop doing that. Before I do anything else, let's just stop. Don't even worry about it. We'll either build something or we'll help rebuild our own fleet, because our fleet here is under our capacity because we have been increasing our military stats. So we're up to 147, but we're out of 210, so we are a bit lower than we should be. Anything else of interest? They shifted, so they're not going to shift anytime super soon. 159, I don't know as much I can do with that as far as building stuff on my home system. I know we've got something for 240 I would like to get repaired. Electronics factory is, at least that is some extra money. I think the arc ship would be better, but it is only the same amount of money. So I could do that. I think we'll just focus on rebuilding the military, though. If there's anything cheap we can build inside, I might consider it if it's something that helps. Is there anything particularly awesome we might want? Yilden's pretty crappy looking. We could make Yilden better because they are sort of on the front lines over here, Pollux and Yilden. Chemical warehouse isn't bad, but it's a bit pricey for what I'd want to do. Hospital's nice, but also pricey. More than I want to spend on you guys at the moment. How about you? Yeah, Izar's not great. We could help these guys get stronger. 60 for extra military for them. Not a bad trade-off. I almost think I'd rather just wait and then... okay, you are rebuilding your warehouse. Wazin, even though it's the capital here, not very strong. We might want to help you out. Even if it's building something up like this, it doesn't really do much. It does help increase the strength of that house that's there. So, I mean, we could help you guys. I'd probably do the repair platform. Who do we have free? Quite a few people. All right. How about... yeah, we could marry some people into the family, potentially, because we are quite low on family members since my brother defected. I will build you the repair platform. Send my wife off to do that, just to help out. Then we're going to rebuild our fleet. Gonna have my daughter... Actually, Roxanne's quite good at that as well. Why are you so good at that? Huh. Same effectiveness. I'm really surprised. Why is that 100? She's only got a 36 administration. Her military is non-existent. Even if it's a combination of administration and tech, that's a bit odd. Okay, fine, you can do that. Plus 50% military replenishment rate. Excellent. I still have my daughter free to do stuff. So we could build something. We could also rebuild fleets for somebody. Any of that kind of stuff if we wanted to. What do we want to do? Terrabellum's looking a lot better. A lot more stuff built up. How's your fleet up here? Just out of curiosity. Looking pretty good. I could help rebuild the fleet out here, because his fleet is looking pretty pathetic. 4 of 17. I don't know that I really want to do that. Who am I improving relations with at this point? Should also look at where I'm quelling unrest. Pollux is fine. Parima's still kind of rough. We could stop on Pollux. Bit higher out here, so we could switch and have somebody go out there. Let's go ahead and shift her out to do that. When it comes to diplomacy, what are we doing? So the head of the Clarks and the head of the Tanners, both of whom we should be on pretty good relations with. Tanner's about halfway. Clark's decent enough for the moment. We could work on the Jordans, potentially. Might be more of an issue, and even possibly the Lins. Starting to get a bit concerned about the Fields Union as a whole here as well. They only have one system under their control directly. We could improve things here, that's for sure. It's not awful, but it's not terrible either. So let's stop both, I think. I've got enough actions I can kind of do pretty much whatever I want, shifting people around without too much trouble, so we can do that quite a lot. I think we'll send one here. We'll just send Timothy. It's not a super high priority. Go ahead and travel, sure. Let's send somebody out here to the head of the fields. Let's have my son-in-law do that. Okay, so we have enough money, we can build another thing. We've got my daughter free. We could also rebuild fleets. Those are kind of the main things we probably want to do at this point. Like I said, we could send her out to Saddle Melik. Not sure I'm that interested in that. Let's take a look at you guys. 56 out of 96. The farmers are looking at 50 out of 78. Let's help the Galloways rebuild their fleet. Just for a little while. I think we'll do that. Sure, travel if you want to. See the universe. Okay, that's really about it. We do have potential claims, but none of them we really want to push at this point. We have some blackmail, but nothing that exciting. We do have something on the Jordans. Let me take a look. So I do have blackmail on you. But I can't use it to do anything. I can just reveal the information. He just spread some dissent. It's not a big deal. Nobody's really going to care. It'll just tank our relations a little bit. I think that's about it. I am running a spy operation out here in the Blackwells as well. We do have potential claims for my son-in-law and his children out here in the Blackwells, but we would need them to separate from the Clarks. Otherwise, we would just take over, like one of my descendants might take over the Blackwell lines, but it would still be part of the Clark clan league. We want it to like leave that league and join my league, is what the goal would be. I think that's about it. Warehouse has been repaired. Okay, so we just kind of ignored it long enough that it's not a big deal. Or he died. What's going on? What is going on? I see weird break there. I don't think that's new. While on routine patrol, a squadron of Duchess Jarvis' ships has mutinied and disappeared. I mean, that's not great. Archon Lindsay wants marriage between Chill and Miracle Lindsay. My brother-in-law will leave. So Chill, I don't think I'm currently using him for anything. He is good for military. Brother-in-law. She just wants to snake somebody away who's good militarily, I think, probably. I'm not really using him for much. But I'm going to refuse because I am kind of low, and we could use him to marry someone into my family rather than just having him leave. So I'm going to refuse. If I was able to get like her allegiance or something, I would have. 55 credits isn't enough to make that deal attractive. So we failed to avenge Persephone Jarvis's crime. We just kind of let it go long enough. Visitors. Yeah, you're definitely a diplomat, not a big deal. Your daughter's training is having a profound effect. Mistress Kumi Scrooge is happy to report that Archon heiress Scrooge, Michiko, shows great interest in acquiring new knowledge even beyond what is being taught. So Michiko now says that with such an excellent tutor, it would be impossible not to be motivated. So she picked up a special trait, motivated learner. So for 8 more turns, plus 50% to skill increase rate. We are training her quite a bit. You withdraw to the necropolis to reflect on your relationship with other realms. Perhaps the necropolis's wisdom can aid you. I do have actions. I'm not sure why we can't do this. I guess it depends on what we've done in the past. So, sure, we'll just study the databanks. It'll give me some diplomacy bones. You find out that Duke Blackwell injured Renee Hill in a bar brawl. So just one of his vassals. Whispers within 95 Aquarii have reached your niece's spies. Your niece has heard a rumor that Executive Tarina Jordan is curious about the customs of commoners. If she were fed false information and offended House Jordan's subjects, it would cause an uproar. So we can do this kind of stuff, but it does create a secret that can be discovered that we tried to like mess with somebody. And I don't really want to tank relations. I just kind of want to find out about the families going on. It creates an easy secret as well. It could be discovered pretty quickly. It's not really that big a deal. She's not even like she's part of the ruling family, but she's not the ruler, so no, don't worry about it. If it could cause conflict between the Jordans and the Archon ruling them, then maybe, but otherwise, no, not really a concern. So some claim stuff going around there, nothing too crazy. So this is here, I think, yeah, because my heir is there being trained. So my niece is now on the council. So hopefully she will recover and stay part of the family for a while. That just kind of improves our connections. So we can't do those marriages like we're talking about. We could try to marry some people in. We are 9 under our family capacity, which is pretty crazy. We could always use more diplomats because we could send them off to just improve relations with people all over the place. So if we can marry in some diplomats, it's not a terrible idea. How's our fleet looking? It's about the same, I think, even though I swear it's the same. It was like 150 something, even though we're spending resources to improve our replenishment rate. Wazin, how are you looking? Yeah, she's building up a little bit. Okay, so, yeah, we might want to look at marrying people in. So my nephew, his wife died. Do you have Chill as well? He's a bit older. Why is this so small? That's weird. Like the thickness of the bars is very different. My great-nephew is now 18, so we could potentially try to bring somebody in. Roxanne's still quite young, so she ended up with kind, cowardly, and fickle. Odd combination, but she's a decent administrator. Decent for tech. And we've got Kelly now. I think this is the one, like, her mom showed up and was helping out, and they just suddenly dropped dead, since it came from a family from somewhere else. Tribal, rule breaker, sickly. Decent for spy stuff, which is interesting. She is distantly related to us. Yeah, I feel like we could probably marry somebody in. We've got a 70 military. How high is... Mitch is 55. I think his was affected... So Chill, I think, was my admiral at one point. But because we had like a rivalry going, it was causing all kinds of problems, and his effectiveness was actually lower. So having him on the council didn't really help us much. He's fickle. We could potentially try to find somebody... If we could marry somebody in... A very, very good diplomat here, actually. You're part of the Galloways. I mean, another good diplomat is definitely not a problem. You're okay tech, but nothing really that impressive. Just trying to see who would join our house if we did do this. 61 diplomacy here. She's a Galloway. Hmm. So we've got a 61 diplomacy. I can't remember what the other one was. It was also diplomacy. Is it her? No. 65. Yeah, we could do that. We'll just ask politely. All right, excellent. So we arrange a quick marriage for Chill. My brother-in-law's wife. We might have created some weird relationship stuff, but okay. Opinion of me didn't change. It did give us another additional person in our family, so now we have Michael here, or Michael. Michael. She does like me quite a bit. She is normal kin, okay. Hopefully she wasn't distant kin before that. She might have been. Cowardly, friendly, and charming, so a typical diplomat. So now we have another diplomat we could send out on a mission somewhere. We could try to work on these guys, or the Lins. There are also the Villas. There's also the Lindsays out here. How is our relationship with the Lindsays? You're only just this two little territory league. They're not going to be interested in joining up with us. Yeah. How are our relations? Fairly positive opinion. So I don't know that we really have to do that. We're actually a pretty good character overall, so we do have good diplomacies. A lot of people do like us. So we just have a generally likable aura around us. Who do I want to improve relations with? Is kind of the thing. We do have these guys out here as well, the Arlanos. Yeah, I mean, they do like us. If the leader changes, it could change that situation. Just a little separate faction out there. Yeah, I feel like the field's sort of eating everything here, but I can't imagine this lasting. There's so many small little groups inside. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? So they've got 5 vassals under them, and they only really hold like one system. So I feel like they're doomed for a rebellion or a breakaway at some point. Because of the Starlane connections, we're having a bit of trouble expanding. I'd love it if I could get the Tanners on side. But they'd have to get a bit weaker probably for them to consider that action. I guess we could work on the lens temporarily, just send somebody down to improve relations slightly. Alternatively, doesn't my new guy not like me so much? Yeah, he's a little bit negative. Let's send you there instead. Sure, travel if you have to, not a big deal. could find somebody for Mitch, but then he's going to have more kids. I'd rather find somebody for direct descendants, not people who married into the family. You're an interesting case. What are you doing right now? Running a spy network up here. Okay. Yeah, I think we're fine. Let's just go ahead and run it. Keep building up cash. Oh, my niece actually loves Barry. Look at that. Flare up of descent on Hees. Repair platform has been finished in Wazin. News reported that Executive Lindsay spread dissent on 94 Aquiari at the Lindsay's request. So they're causing some chaos down here, sure. Magar Blackwell spread dissent on Aludra at the Duke Blackwell's request. So a little bit of information there, nothing too crazy. Previous dukes. Causing problems, finding out information. Taxes raised over here in the farmer territories. Ah, you idiot. So he attempted to depose the fields down here in Yilden, so they rebelled. It's always frustrating when they do this kind of stupid stuff inside your vassals. She is still under us, but now directly rather than under him. But he's going to go to war with her. Oh, head of the Galway Alliance just died. That's unfortunate. Fola Jarvis inherited the Galloway Alliance. How are our relations? Okay, she loves me. She's quite young, so she'll be around for a while. Forgiving, individualistic, and reserved. Okay. Fine. Why did you stop training her? Did you die? Okay. Duties and things changing. But they're still part of our league, so it's kind of weird. Why we suddenly left. I guess because the ruler changed, we have to like redo our actions and orders and stuff, I guess. Alright, so Lady Dames wants support for the combat at Pollux. The attacker is Lady Dames. I think she's just rebelling against the farmers. Yeah, I have no interest in being involved in this. At least not on the rebellion side. Rebellion failed. He never asked me for help, though. I would have helped him if he did. So Clyde Kirk wants marriage between Roxanne, Scrooge, and himself. Okay, well that's certainly one way to try to go about things. My brother-in-law's brother. I don't see your age here, which has me a bit interested in the whole situation. Roxanne is my great niece. Yeah, I wish I could see your age. I'm kind of curious about the situation. I don't know that I'm that interested in marrying you into the family. You're okay for spying. That's about it. Oh no, she'd actually leave if they married and will go to join House Kirk. So, no. My brother died. My brother's been left with his entire family. Went to live in the Tanner Coalition for some strange reason. There was no event or anything. He just bailed. He died. That's too bad. Archon Fields has invited you to attend a feast for the birth of Archon heiress Ramona Fields. Sure, I'm fine with that. Do I want to participate myself? I am quite good militarily. Yeah, it'll bring me some honor. As long as we don't get hurt. So we're going to fight Bliss Cunningham. She is a very good spy master, not a very good fighter. So we defeat her. Chuck Farmer. Also decent spy master, not very good fighter. Defeat him. Admiral Shauna Lynn. That's your admiral. Someone who's incredibly good at spying and incredibly bad at running a military. Okay. We defeat her as well. Sabra Fields. That's an actual challenge. We'll fight normally, as you would expect. She actually beat us. So she won the tournament. We came in probably second place. So we do get a little bit of renown. Archon Fields rises to give a toast, then chokes, grabbing a steel girder as she collapses. Archon Fields' lab techs are certain it was poison. A secret has been created, a very hard one. Huh. Yeah, what I say about too many vassals and potential conflicts and problems, somebody inside the coalition probably killed her, or tried to kill her. Killed her. She's dead. Alright. A baby has inherited the Fields Union. Who's going to be the acting Archon? Jana Fields. Opinion's not as good of us. We might want to work on him a little bit. The feast was ruined, and the guests depart with a heavy heart. Feast went terribly. Okay. I don't know that I've seen that icon before. We've gone from being happy to being troubled. You make the pilgrimage to witness the Eternity ship. Right, this is the black hole with the ship circling around it. The ship lies eerily still against the black hole like a metal butterfly pinned at the moment of death. You contemplate the doomed vessel. I only have one choice. The cosmos is filled with wonder, I suppose, so we become a bit happier. Or do we? Still troubled. Didn't change anything, so much for that event actually mattering. Nephew inherited your brother's belongings and obligations. Okay. Some fining going on. So I think the rebellion here... Was that the rebellion? Got executed. Okay. There must be some family connections between the Galloways, the Fields, and the Blackwells. We do have some marriage connections as well. It does get kind of weird and convoluted as it goes along with some of these relationships and stuff. We could potentially spread some problems up here in the Blackwells. Just looking at some tax information, nothing too crazy. My son-in-law gorged himself during the feast. Oh, Thad. Wait, are you sick? Yeah, he's ill. That's odd. Probably want to do something about that. Got quite a few people free, so we should probably just select somebody to do that before we forget. Okay, let's do that first. Medical attention, and there it is. Yeah, Nibok can do that, that's fine. Travel if you have to, not a problem. Get him healed up. We can do the memorial event at the Necropolis again, I probably will. Just because it gives us some additional fame. That's down in Arcturus. Out of curiosity, what can we do with blackmail actions up here? Interest someone at a bar brawl. Don't really think there's much point in doing that. Could request control from the Archon, specifically. We've got all kinds of claims on everything because we have Blackwells in the family. I wonder... You don't like me much, but... I can ask their Archon for somebody. So we could potentially do that, but we could also, like, our vassals do have claims on stuff. So, like, the Galloways have claims on these two territories. The farmers have claims on these two territories. And actually, I think even maybe Rotanev? I think it's just these two. So they could fight individually. We don't have to get involved in those fights. Just kind of help them out being stronger, and they might push those themselves. So those are things we might want to look at. It's part of why I've been rebuilding stuff inside my vassals. Let's go to Arcturus. We'll visit the Necropolis. We'll hold a memorial, because why not? Just more fame for me. Which helps us get bloodline points. We are not even halfway to getting the next one, which is... we probably picked up the Renowned Markets. Just lots of additional cash. What else do we want to do? I don't really feel like there's anything I can push. I'd really like the Tanners to come join. It would give me access to more people, so we could maybe try to make moves from there. As it is, really trying to get the Lindsays or the Jordans is about the only thing I can really do at this point. I'd really like to separate the Blackwells out, but I don't really have a legal claim to do it. So what I'd have to do, I could push the claim for my son-in-law to rule the Blackwell Alliance, because he was disinherited. Or for my grandchild to rule the Blackwell Alliance. But the problem is that they've changed the inheritance laws a bit, because they disinherited certain people, and my daughter disinherited certain people. So right now I think the heir, because my daughter did this, and I don't have control of it, my daughter made her youngest child the current heir to the Scrooge sovereignty, after her. But the oldest child has the claim to the Blackwell Alliance. In which case, it would just be the youngest would run this, the other child would run this under the Clarks. If they were both the same, so I was able to change the inheritance, so change who would be inheriting everything, then I could get it so the oldest, and probably, like, I'm going to die before my daughter takes control. Once my daughter's in charge, I'm actually in control of her, but until then, I'm not directly in control of her. So I could then change the inheritance for my grandchild once my current ruler dies. So there are things we can do down the road, but it's going to be a bit messy. And I probably wouldn't push the claim till at least my daughter took control of the sovereignty, because then I can control my daughter from her doing crazy, ridiculous stuff. She's also stolen a bunch of money from us. That's a whole other problem. Anyway, we have quite a few people free. I'm not sure why we stopped training. my daughter. She's being trained in the military, but my other daughter stopped training her, right? No. Okay. So Thad is free for a diplomatic mission. There is a... Oh, you're even a Blackwell. Oh, the capital switch from Wazin to Izar. That's a whole other interesting thing as well. You love me, so that's totally fine. You tolerate me enough. I think we'll just kind of set up our actions and we'll call it for this one. We've been doing quite well at sort of getting people on sides. We do have the new person in charge. Let's work on improving relations with you. That's a fairly important action. Yeah, I mean, you're sick, so I'm not super enthused with sending you, but I'm going to. Because the person I'm doing medical treatment can just follow him. That should be fine. Hopefully no one will die. So we have my wife, who's a good builder, and then my daughter, who's the heir, free. We are already building up the fleet. Speaking of which, I just want to double check. It was 150. Yeah, it's gone down. How are we rebuilding the fleet and it's going down? It was 156 last turn, and now it's 153. I don't understand what's happening with the rebuilding sometimes. It's really weird. Like, we're doing everything we can to keep the fleet topped up, and like, how are we down ships? What? There was no event, nothing happened. I don't know what's going on. Is my military stat down? Like, maybe? No, it's not down. Yeah, that's really weird. I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like it's bizarre sometimes the way some of that works out. Anyway. I do want to save money to build something here. We could build something in the meantime. We don't have to go for the arc ship right away. We could build something else. Anything on Izar? We could build them something, since they're now ahead of the Galloways. You know what? I'm going to build up the barracks there then. Let's have my wife do that. We'll shell out some cash for you guys to get a bit stronger. Which just leaves my heir. Already building my fleet. I feel like I should be able to assign multiple people to do that. Such a weird result going on. I don't know, this is going to cause more problems. You're just going to end up fighting. So the Fields Union. You don't have a lot of stuff over there. If there is fighting, the stuff's going to get damaged on Yildiz, which is a bit of a problem. Now, I think the Galloways have a claim. Okay, I think they used to have a claim to Yildiz, but they don't anymore, it looks like. We can double check. Nope, Galloways do have a strong claim, it's just not listed there. So I could give Yildiz to the Galloways. It probably would tick her off, because there's no guarantee they're going to leave her in charge. She's happy, like, directly underneath me at the moment, but I think it's going to be a fight here. I don't think that would stop the fighting, either. It might. So if I did this, transferring ownership of a faction to a vassal will also grant them independence. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. Yeah, I think we're fine, just kind of leaving it, seeing what happens. If they do stay, maybe we could make that connection, but I feel like to make that work, the Galloways also need like Missam and Beta Virginus, and then kind of having this whole swing down here as part of their faction would be worthwhile to do, but as it is like the separate little broken off piece, whatever. I'm troubled. I don't think there's anything I can really do about that. Throw myself a feast. We could improve the fleet size out here. I know that's down a bit. I could even help you, honestly. How big is your fleet? 29 out of 35 ships. So pretty close to max. Arcturus, we've been working on building up their ships for a while. You guys back to full? Nope, 6 of 23. Okay. Not going up at all, it seems like, despite the 22% increase. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why our numbers are so off. It feels really weird. Like, why are we down so many ships? I don't get it. How about your fleet? How about we actually improve your fleet? I feel like that kind of makes sense. Let's do that. Travel if you have to, fine. Just gonna make the Galloways a bit stronger, potentially, by doing that, since they did move their capital to a slightly better system. So we're kind of helping them out by building something for them, rebuilding the fleet, get them on their feet. Yeah, I feel like things are sort of just dragging on here. We're not having any success with grabbing anybody. We have kind of like indirectly taken over this one system to make the Galloways slightly stronger, but we haven't been able to exploit it. Nobody is in a position where we can kind of force them in, and nobody wants to join either. If we have enough cash, potentially people would do it for money and switch sides, kind of like the Jordan colonies just did. But I still have some things we want to build up inside of our systems to make us a bit stronger. I'm kind of hoping that our vassals will do some work for us, like these guys taking some of this from the Blackwells, them maybe taking some stuff from the Jordan colonies, but I feel like the Jordans are a bit too strong. And then, of course, there's the Villas and the Arlanos, and some of these other independents that are pretty strong, actually. And the Cthulhu worshippers down here in the Pulev quadrant. Anyway, I think it's going to do it for today. This has been more of Star Dynasties. I've been Disturbing Puppet. Thanks for coming by. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, have a good one.